People will easily be able to come and learn a great deal about you, which is the objective of LinkedIn, right? They want you to share as much of your professional information so that other people inside of LinkedIn will find it valuable to use LinkedIn as a source for finding good people to connect with. So LinkedIn puts a lot of value on having a complete profile, and if you don't have a complete profile, you will certainly lose out on a lot of visibility inside of LinkedIn as well as in the search engines. So let me share you some tips for optimizing your profile. One, you want to have a strong headline. Okay, this is both for a company page and also for your personal page. You want to have a good headline that captures what you're all about. A professional picture, right? You have the opportunity to put pictures up inside of LinkedIn. You want to make sure that they're professional, that they're nicely done, that they're clear, and that you're putting your best foot forward, of course, to display there for the world. Publish content of your own. Okay, publishing articles that you've written, presentations that you've given, videos that you've created, things like that. Those are a fantastic way to demonstrate your expertise and your knowledge, and LinkedIn loves that you're sharing that type of content inside of LinkedIn. It just makes for, a richer environment where people are better able to find good quality information. Use keywords you want to identify with. So if you're familiar with search engine optimization, is this process and kind of methodology around getting your website to rank well in the search engines. And one of the keys to it, maybe the most important thing, is to make sure that you are optimizing your site to certain keywords, which is just to say that you want to use the keywords that people are using to search for your products and services in the web. So if I sell, racing motorcycles, right? And people go into the search engines and that's the phrase that they use, racing motorcycles, to find my types of products, then I want to make sure that my website uses those terms as well. Well, it's the same thing in LinkedIn. You want to make sure that in your profile you are using the keywords that you want associated with you and with your company. So on a personal level, let's say that you are a technology startup sales specialist. Well, then you would want to make sure that whatever exact language that is that describes that position and that expertise that you have is used throughout your profile so that when people go and search for that they find you. Okay, so it's very important to use the keywords that you want to identify with. And then finally, on your profile, you should connect with as many people as possible. Okay, LinkedIn is a social network, so you want to have as many connections as you possibly can. And if you don't have very many connections, then LinkedIn will not place as much value on your profile because they either see that you're not a very engaging person in the real world, or you have not engaged within LinkedIn. Either way, they don't like it. So connect with as many people as possible. There's no real reason to not connect with people on LinkedIn. This isn't like Facebook where you're inside of Facebook all day long, as some people are, and you're just getting this flood of updates that are distracting, with inside of Facebook or Twitter. LinkedIn is a different environment than that, and you're not going to suffer that same type of issue. So it definitely benefits you to have as many connections as possible to as many people as possible. One, LinkedIn likes that, and two, obviously that's building out your real social network. All right, strategy number 3 is to post regular updates inside of LinkedIn. So why post regularly inside of LinkedIn? Well, one, these updates will appear in LinkedIn network updates, which is essentially it's saying that your updates will show up in the news and feeds of all the other people that are using LinkedIn. And this will help you stay top of mind with the audiences that you're trying to reach. It will position you as a good source of information, right, and of expertise. So if you're doing the things that I mentioned earlier, publishing articles you've written, events that are coming up, presentations that you've done, things like that, people will view you as a good source of information for those particular topics or within that industry. And other people will take notice of that and connect with you. So again, building out that greater business or professional social network. So when I'm talking about posting updates, I'm actually referring here to this activity feed area. So this is telling you things that are published by Jeff, and then you can see here a link that says see more. And I've got to tell you, Jeff, maybe because he's the CEO of LinkedIn, has a little bit fancier representation here of his activity than most people have. Most people, it's not quite as exciting looking, but he's got these great, images and nice strong headlines. And then if you click see more here, you can see here it takes you out to this really neat, it's almost like a blog environment, but it's like they're using Pinterest type of style to make it more interesting. So you can see here, this is content that Jeff has published. Best advice, lessons from Dad and Steve Jobs, the future of LinkedIn and the economic graph, from Seinfeld to sushi, how to master your, something like a cut off there. So he's sharing good information. He's making himself a real person, not just the CEO of this major company, and building relationships out there. It's developing his personal brand as well. I'm sure very strategically developing the brand of LinkedIn to make it seem like, an approachable company for people that might consider working there or partnering with them. So, putting these kinds of updates, these updates get shared with the greater LinkedIn community. So putting this type of content up here is great exposure for you and your company. So what kind of content to share? Well, as I said before, articles you've written, company news, industry news, any sort of events or meetings or webinars that you have coming up that would be interesting to people. These are all great pieces of content to share within LinkedIn. So some tips for updating. A great tip is there's a LinkedIn share button that you can add to your browser. So this is just a little button that you'll put inside of your browser so that when you find a piece of content out there on the web that you think is worth sharing, you just hit that button and it easily shares it into your LinkedIn profile for you. So the way I suggest you use that in a lot of cases here is to publish your content on your own website or your blog, and then use that LinkedIn browser button to share it. So now you're getting exposure for the content that you created on your website, your blog, within LinkedIn, and you're also getting traffic that will come from LinkedIn to your website and your blog, where then they will most likely engage in other content you've created or explore your website and potentially contact you. So publish content yourself out on the web, out on your blog, videos, articles, things like that, and then share them using that LinkedIn share button. Include catchy images. As I showed you before in Jeff's updates there, you can see those nice clear images. So you want to be thoughtful about that because images really draw people's eyes, and if you make those interesting images, you'll have a much higher likelihood of getting that content read or viewed by somebody in the LinkedIn community. And then again, as we mentioned before, include keywords. You want to make sure that your content is associated with the keywords that you are trying to rank for or brand yourself for. All right, strategy number 4 here, make lots of connections. As I said before, LinkedIn is a social network. Now, it's the professional social network, but it still is very much a a social network. So you can see here, John Jantsch, founder of Duct Tape Marketing, great company. He's got 500 plus connections here, right? So this is telling you how many connections to have. And then this is a great way to connect with other people. So let's say I went to John's profile to check him out. Well, you can see people similar to John over here, and that's similar by the type of work they do, the positions that they have, the companies that they have or work for, things like that. So this is a great place to explore other people that you might want to connect with. And then also down here are people that were also viewed by the people who viewed John Jantsch. So if I searched for John Jantsch, then there's a good likelihood that I also viewed these people, Guy Kawasaki, Anita Campbell, Mari Smith. So these are also great people to check out and make a connection with. Another great way to get your connections into LinkedIn is if you go right up here to the top of your navigation bars in LinkedIn, you'll see contacts. And then if you see right here, you have connections and add connections. When you click on that add connections, it will give you this box here, this page here that says see who you already know on LinkedIn. Get started by adding your email address. So all you need to do is put in your email address or addresses here, and it will go out and hunt through your contacts and establish connections to the ones on LinkedIn for you. So it's just a really nice, efficient way of getting contacts into LinkedIn very quickly. All right, so some tips here for adding connections. One, make it a daily routine. Okay, especially if you're in any sort of sales position or business development position, should be something that you're doing every single day, is reaching out and making those new connections. If you're out and about town, collect business cards from everyone that you meet, and then make sure at the end of the day that you're putting those into LinkedIn and making those connections. Connect with everyone that you've worked with in the past. Have all of your employees, if you're the business owner, have all of your employees build LinkedIn profiles, and then make sure that they all connect with you, connect to your company page, that you connect to all of them, that they connect with each other, right? Those relationships mean a lot in LinkedIn. And then finally, I suggest that you accept all connection invites. Okay, and again, I say that because this is a social network, and really, there's pretty much no downside to having as many connections as you possibly can in LinkedIn. You'll see some people have, 10,000 connections in LinkedIn. Now, they don't personally know all of those people, but that's okay. They have some reason why those people wanted to connect that benefits them in business and expands their overall network and visibility. All right, strategy number 5, promote your page with your other web properties. Okay, and I should say actually just other properties, not just web properties. So you should put your LinkedIn URL on your website, on your blog, but you should also put it on your business cards, put it in your email signature so that every time you send an email, it's there at the bottom, and also include it in your other social networks like Facebook and LinkedIn. Facebook and Twitter. You should just put this link to your profile everywhere that you possibly can to get more and more exposure. All right, strategy number 6, get recommendations from happy customers, vendors, and employees. Okay, this is a perfect place to share what the world thinks of your products and services and you as a professional. Okay, it just makes sense to do that inside of this LinkedIn environment. So here you can see some company or product recommendations. So this is for the Sales Cloud from Salesforce.com, and you can see these people have recommended it. Down here you would see another 332 recommendations for a similar product, and then you can see the individual people who are using and recommend Sales Cloud. Okay, so if you've got a great product or service out there, you've got good loyal customers that are fans of yours, definitely get them to recommend your products and services within LinkedIn. And then, of course, there's personal recommendations, right? For you personally, you as a professional, and this is what those look like. So you can see here Charles Best speaking about Jeff, the CEO of LinkedIn, and talking about all the great things he's done for him. Here's an executive in residence at Excel Partners also. So these are the titles that Jeff held. These are the people that are vouching for his work in those titles. Okay, so Jeff was an executive in residence at Excel Partners. Adam is vouching for the work that he did while he was there. So, LinkedIn says, okay, let's put up all of the roles that you've had and then get people to vouch for your performance in those roles. So obviously a great place, again, to collect these recommendations. So tips for getting recommendations. First of all, do great work and build great products. Okay? That's the same way that you get referrals in business, and that's essentially what a recommendation is, right? It's almost like a referral. So do great work and build great products. Those are definitely the best and easiest ways to get